am E. Krishnarao Patro. Today we will discuss about one important program, that is Quicksort. So, one of the very important sorting algorithm, that is Quicksort, or you can say one of the fast sorting technique. So most of the time the arranging the data is essential. So whenever you want to arrange the data in a order, either ascending or descending, then you have to use any of the sorting technique. So Quicksort is one of the important sorting technique. Now today we will try to implement this Quicksort using Python programming language. So before that, you have to recall, already in the previous session you have seen the general concept. Now again we will recall what is that Quicksort. Quicksort is a divide and conquer algorithm, which is mainly dividing the whole dataset into two parts and finding the exact position for the pivot element. And after dividing the data into again two parts, every division it will be following the same process until all the elements are arranged in a order. You may follow either arranging descending order or ascending order. Anything is okay. So here the main point is how to find the pivot element. Finding the pivot element is essential. So you can choose the pivot element as the first element is the pivot, or you can choose the last element is the pivot, or you can even choose random element is the pivot, or you can choose the middle element also pivot. But most of the time, most of the people, they will prefer first element as a pivot. Sometimes they may use even the last element of the list is pivot. Pivot means that is the main element. Based on that one, you can divide into two parts. So you may read the list of elements. From that list, you will choose either first element is a pivot or last element is pivot. So if I choose first element is pivot, then I have to find out the exact position of the pivot, where the pivot should be. After finding the position, whatever the elements are available towards its left, one part, and towards the pivot right, that is another part. So now you are getting two division. Similarly, every division will again you have to divide in two parts until all the pivot get the perfect place. That is the main motto behind this particular sorting. So this process uses divide and conquer policy. So it is using a special method called partition method. This partition method will be allowing you to divide the set into two parts. So the target partition, given the element x as well as the array as pivot, and put x in the correct position. Put the x in correct position in the sorted array. So that means after sorting where that pivot should be there, that position you have to find out. That is the role of this partition function. And all this should be done in a linear time. So overall the time complexity will be order of n log n. This is the overall time complexity. If the data are given in a mixed order, that means in a haphazard order, in a random order, then you will get this. If at all data is already in a sorted mode, then the time complexity will be order of n square. So you have to give the random order or you have to give the mixed data, then the time complexity is order of n log n base 2. So this Quicksort is not suitable for the already arranged data because it takes linear time. So it is not advisable to use Quicksort for the already sorted data. So here the main target is what? Selecting the pivot element. So you have to find the pivot element first and rearrange the elements in the position before the pivot element is smaller than or equal to the pivot, and those after the pivot are larger than the pivot. So that means once you find the position of the pivot, whatever the elements are available towards left are smaller, and whatever the element which are available towards right are greater. So this is my pivot element. So you have to find the position of the pivot. After finding the position of the pivot, all the elements towards left are smaller and all the elements towards right are greater. This is the main motto behind this partition algorithm. And you can see a small demo here how the partition works. So it has taken one low as well as high. It will be comparing this low with high, and it will comparing the pivot element. See now, you can observe this zip file, how it is doing. So now that means it found the position 31 is this is the correct place. Now see 31 initially high low started here, 35 is less, no, so interchange here. So low is less than high, again interchange. Whenever the condition fail, it has to swap. You can see the how it is moving. So finally, this 31 is coming in the middle. Please observe here, now 31 will come to this place. And all the elements should be less than 31. So that's why 26 has come here. So it is comparing these two elements, high with low. The low come from left to right and the high come from right to left. This low is my index variable, comes from left to right, and high is my index variable, comes from right to left. So whichever elements are less, that must be in the left side, and whichever element are greater than this pivot, they are should be right side. Now please observe here how it is coming. Now here my pivot is 31. So that means once the 31 comes here, all the elements which are towards right should be greater. Yeah, 33, 44, 35 are the greater. And all elements so now 31 has come to this place. So this is the way it works. Now you have to write this algorithm. Start is my starting position of the list and my ending position of the list, and array is my array where the elements are there. Here I'll check whether start is greater than end or not. If start is greater than end, stop it. That means the process is over. Now here my goal is to find the position of the pivot. So I'll pass first array, then I'll pass starting position. Starting is initially 0, and then I'll pass ending. Ending is my length of the array minus 1 or last index. Then here what happened? You got p value. P is what? The center position. Then here you are applying divide and conquer policy. So when you are using divide and conquer policy, you are dividing the list into two parts. So it goes from start to p minus 1 because p is the middle. So start is 0. 0 to up to p minus 1. It is left side, p minus 1. Similarly, here this is p plus 1. P plus 1 to till end. P plus 1 to end. So that means you are dividing the list into two parts. Starting to ending means partition minus 1, and second is partition plus 1 to end. So that means every time you are dividing the list into two parts. So every time divide two parts and then apply the same process until all the elements are sorted. Now the partition algorithm you see. So you are passing array, start and end. Find the position, means initially the start element, because anything you can choose is a pivot. You can make pivot as a first element or pivot as a last element. Here I have taken the starting element as a pivot. Now your goal is find the suitable position for the pivot. That means after sorting where the pivot should go. And low equal to, that means when it is when you have chosen this as a pivot, this element as a pivot, now remain next to onwards you have to start. So this element is your index. That means based on this one you have to divide into two parts. So the low will be, this is my start, this is my start. So low is start plus 1. That means it comes here. Low start from this place. Low start from this place. And high is ending position. Here because I am maintaining two pointer. One is low, other one high. High is pointing to end. Okay. Then here I will put a loop. This loop will repeat to find the position of the pivot, where exactly pivot should be there after sorting. So that pivot has to come to the required place. So here this loop is now running. I will be checking my low whether is less than high or not, because always the low index should be less than high. This series keep on going until array of high is must be greater than pivot. This element array of high should be greater than or equal to pivot. Greater than or equal to pivot. That means whichever element available right side, that must be greater than pivot. If this is okay, then I have to come down. High equal to high minus 1. Initially high was here. Then next time high will be coming to next step. So this process will continue until all the elements are greater than pivot. Whenever it fails, this loop will break. So that time it will be outside the loop. Then it has to check again left side. So here also the low must be less than high, and array of low should be less than or equal to pivot, because this data must be less. That's why this loop will continue till this condition satisfies. Whenever condition fails, come out. That time the low index and high index, assume low failed here, low failed here, and high failed here. Now whatever the data is available here and here, this is the low data and this data, low and high. Then here it will check whether the data is means, because already these are less. So if low is less than high, then these two has to interchange, swap. These data you have to swap. This data swap. Swapping takes place here. Now this is your swapping logic. Swap it. After swapping, this data comes. Then, so now this process will continue. If low is not less than high, then it is breaking. Once the complete process is over, that means when the low is less than high, if low is greater than high, that means if low cross high, if low is crossing high, in that case, that means the pivot has come to this perfect place. So it will break out the pivot element which was available earlier in the pivot. So starting position is my pivot data. This pivot is now swapped. Pivot element with the high location is now swapping. So automatically your partition is now ready. So this high gives me the position of the pivot. This is the position of pivot. Position of pivot. Okay. So here you can call, initially you can have a set of data and you can call the array, and 0 is the starting position and length of the array -1, that is your end. So you have to pass 3 parameters, the complete list, starting as well as ending, and finally this data is sorted and printed. So this way this quicksort works. So let us do it through our idle environment, how it works. Now we'll go to idle. Here you can now mention here, I'll write my quicksort, and here we are using recursive technique. So I'll put a comment, quicksort using recursive way, because we are dividing the list into 2 parts. Now here what I will do, initially I'll define the quicksort method, def quicksort, and I'll pass the 3 parameter. First one is my array, second one is my starting position, and next one is my ending position. Because after knowing starting and ending, then I can do the work. So here what I will do, I will choose the pivot element. The pivot is nothing but sorry. Here I'll check my starting and ending. If start less than end, Then I'll come inside. Here what I will do, I will call my special method called partition. I will write in this partition method. I will pass the array as well as I will pass my start value as well as I will pass my end value. Starting and ending I will pass, and that will return me the p value. P is my partition of the. Here I will call this quick sort 2 times because after partitioning I will get 2 lists. So for the 2 list I will apply the same process. So quick sort my array ARR going from start till the p minus 1. So that means I will not take the p because in the p my pivot data is there. So I will go to p minus 1. Again here I will call quick sort array. Here I will go from p plus 1 to end. So from p plus 1, that means after pivot, the p plus 1 is the next position, that is the starting, and this is the ending. If start is less than end, I am going this, else return. Else return. So this quick sort I will calling. Now here I will write my partition method. So as it is separate method, I will write partition. Partition is my method. Now here my array is there as well as my start as well as my end. So I got starting position as well as ending position. Now here I will choose my pivot. Which is the pivot? The pivot is my starting value. So whatever the start value is there, that value is my pivot. And my low value is the start plus 1. Start plus 1. Because from next point onwards my low starts. And my high value is end. High is end. Now this process, here I will do my starting. While true, my loop continue here. Inside the loop, I have to check whether my data is, means whatever the data available left side, that must be less than pivot or not. So I will put a loop while array of means right side, array of start, that means the pivot data. If this value less than or equal to my array of high, that means array of high must be greater. If array of high is greater than pivot, that means right side, and the low value must be less than or equal to high, means this index. If this condition is true, then my high should come down. That means I should write high equal to high minus 1. So high is reducing. The high values keep on reducing. This is this target. Similarly, once this loop is over, then I have to come to low target. So here what I will do, the low target value, while array of start if it is less, means greater than or equal to array of low, that means array of low is less. If this value is less and low is still less than high, if this condition true, both the conditions are true, then low should go to up. That means low equal to low plus 1. Low equal to low plus 1. So every time low is increasing. Whenever this loop and that loop both are over, then whatever the data is there, then I have to swap it. So here I'll put a condition. If low is less than high, if low is less than high, then I have to swap these two. Whatever the data is available at low and high, I am swapping. Array of low, comma, array of high, these two are swapping. Array of high, comma, array of low. These two are swapped each other. Else break it. When this loop is over, that means if low is greater than high, it comes here and break the loop. After breaking, my start means my swapping. So array of start, that is my pivot data, that has to be swapped with array of high. Whatever the value is in high, because high is the target where I have to swap it. Array of high equal to array of high, comma, array of start. These two are interchange. That means pivot element and the high location both are interchanged. Once the interchanging is over, so you know the position of the pivot. The pivot position is high, so return high. Return high. So now I got the position of pivot. Here, once the position of pivot is known, this goes here, it is calling. Now here I will call my driver method. My driver program I will call now. Driver program. Here what I will do, I will make an array. This array is a list of some data. Assume some 10, 30, 31, 71 and 99, 31, 26, 18, 55, 33. Assume this is a given data. Now I have to call my quicksort so that automatically it has to go there. So here I will call my quicksort. The first parameter is my array and second parameter is my starting position, that is 0, and the last parameter is my ending position. Ending position is my length of array followed by -1, because always the index starts from 0, so that last index is array -1, that gives the index value. Once the quicksort is over, so my array will be rearranged. Now I will print it. So print after sorting. So I will print a message after sorting. Here I will print a error, because this array is automatically sorting, because same array you are passing as a parameter. This is comes under pass a reference, so it is changing there itself. Let us check. Control S, demo sorting. So now my program is saved now. F5. Yeah. Low is not defined, so the namings are something different. So I think I again low, low. So here low, or you can write even instead of low, W. Yeah, low. I'll use low, W, low equals start +1, W, LOW, area of W, of W, yeah, control S, F5, yeah. So now my elements are arranged 10, 18, 26, 30, 31, 33, 55, 71, 99. So you have sorted all the elements. So this way it works. Now you see this data also you can read dynamically. Instead of making static, you can ask the user to enter the data. So here you can ask print enter setup data. Enter set of data. Yeah, now you can read this value. Okay. So here this loop repeats. So you are reading the data, split it, and for every data, whatever you are reading, you are converting to integer and storing in a array. So this way you are able to read the data. Now I can enter any number of data. Enter the set of data. SM11 4. Enter the set of data. 9, 99, and 11. And while reading data, you have to give the space among this F5. Enter the set of data. 11, 5, 66, 8, 9, SM21, 87, 52. Assume this is a given data. Now after sorting, you got 5, 8, 9, 11, 21, 52, 66. That means instead of making static, you can read data dynamically. So you can read this data. This is my way of reading the data. This is dynamic reading. Dynamic reading. So most of the time you have to read the data in a dynamic way, because instead of making static means that is it will work for the same set of data. Whereas for dynamic means you can give your own set of data. So after sorting, this array is automatically rearranged because you are passing same array as a parameter, and this array is now changing because this comes under pass by reference. So remember, whenever you are passing the array or list to a function, and whatever the changes you are doing, this will reflect here also, because this follows pass by reference. This is pass by reference. And remember, here you can write 0 or you can write even the beginning position. Here my beginning is always 0. Why 0? Because in array the starting index is always 0 and the last index is the length of the array minus 1. Here if you observe here in this example, how many elements are there? Please count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 elements are there, but the index is how much? 8 only, because the starting index is 0. So that's why I made it length minus 1. So the length minus 1 gives you the last index. So I will write here length minus 1 gives last index. So after getting the last index, then you can start the process, because 0 to till end you have to start. But if I give exact length, it will go out of the boundary. So you may get a runtime error. So to overcome this error, so you can write minus 1. So this way you are able to solve this problem. So here in this quick sort, the main typical part is the partition program. This part you have to understand very carefully. And remember, the choosing pivot, you can start either from the starting element or you can go to ending position also. So if you want to go to ending position, what you have to do? You have to, instead of taking start, you have to start the end here. If you are taking this end as a pivot, then whatever the element you are doing. Now assume my starting position here I made what? Low equal to start plus 1. But here when you are writing pivot is a end, then you should come this way. That means high will be end minus 1. High will be end minus 1 and low will be as start only. Because this value you have to interchange. So this way you can change also a little bit and do it. Fine. So this program, as it is following divide and conquer policy, for every divide and conquer policy, you should call the same function twice. Okay. That's why I am calling this quick sort 2 times. And while passing, means while calling 2 times, the parameters are different. First time I am passing, start with p minus 1. This is the first partition. And p plus 1 to end, that is the second partition. Whereas here I am not passing the p, because p is the center part. So you must be very careful what data you are passing. And after coming here, the main process starts here. Okay. And this while loop, it is deciding the position of the pivot. Once the loop is over, this data is interchanged. And whenever it comes here, the high value means in the high position, the pivot should come. That's why the pivot data and high position data means high is the place where the pivot has to come. That's why I am here swapping. This is the logic for swapping. This is the logic for swapping. Fine. And here when the internal 2 loops are over, here also the interchange, the low and high are interchanged, but not with pivot. Because here your target is what? All the elements which are towards the left of the pivot, they must be less. And whatever the element available towards its right, it must be greater. That's why you are interchanging here. So here swapping occurs. So this way the elements are interchanging. Okay. Now you can run it. And you can print a message before sorting how the data was there, and after sorting. Before calling, you can print a message also. This is, I can say, before sorting. For sorting, my array is this, and after sorting, my array is this. So you can now call yes. Yeah, I am entering the setup data. Assume 11, 3, 33, 4, 44, 5, 55 or 66, 7, 77 and 8. Assume this is the given set of data. So after sorting, I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 33, 44, 66, 77. And here I got, before sorting, my data was in a non-sorted order. So after sorting, I got this. So this is the way it works. Fine. So practice well. And most of the time they may ask the time complexity of the program. And remember, there are 3 cases, the time complexity. The time complexity of quicksort is for best case. Best case means if the data is given in a random order. Data in random order. Random order. This is order of n log n. Where in the worst case, that means if the data is already in a sorted order. In the worst case, in a data already in the sorted order, then that is order of n square, because that will be like a linear sorter, means insertion sorter, bubble sort. So which takes linear time, order of n square. So order of n square is not a best pattern. So order of n log n is best one. So you have to give the data in a random order so that you will get a best. Of course, the average case also same, best as well as average case. Average case and best case. It gives you order of. Okay. So most of the time they will see the time complexity for the program. If the time complexity is less, that's the best efficient program. If the time complexity is more, they will not prefer. So every program, whatever you're writing, you have to be very careful about the time and space factor. If the program consumes more time, then that is not a better one. If the time consumes also more space, that is also not a better program. So you have to write in an efficient way so that it takes less time and less space. These are the two important criteria for any program. So most of the time in exam also they may ask the time complexity factors. What is the time complexity in the linear means for the quick sort in the best case, or what is the time complexity for the quick sort in worst case. All types of question you may face in the exam. So you have to prepare well this. You should remember these things. And what type of algorithm is used in quick sort? So the answer is divide and conquer policy algorithm. So because it is dividing or it is partitioning the entire list into two parts. So, and while writing program, you must remember you have to write the documentation, the comment part. If comment part is also not written, most of the even industry they may not accept. Please write the comment part. What exactly this particular portion of the program is doing, that you have to mention. So for beginners, you must be very careful writing the comments. So this is your partition algorithm. It is applying partition algorithm, but divide and conquer policy. It follows divide and conquer policy. Divide and conquer policy. So that for every divide and conquer policy, it takes order of log n. As it repeats n time, because n time it has to call that way order of n log n. Order of n log n. For the set of data, it has to find the position of the every pivot element. If there are n elements, it will repeat n time. And for every n element, it is applying log n time. So total is order of n log n. So n into log n time. So logarithm time is better than the linear time. So this way you can write it. Okay. And remember this reading data also essential. Here I am reading only which data? Integer data. So if at all you want to say float, then you have to typecast to float type. And if you are reading a single character, then you have to check with its character format. Okay. But most of the time, a quick sort are applicable for the numerical data or integer data. So read the data and store in a list. Generally, in a normal programming, you will say array, but here you will say list. So the list of data are stored, and it is an integer list. It is an integer list. So please remember here, input.split. It is reading and splitting into list of item, and every item of the list it is converting into integer. So this is the way reading. Simply if you write input, it will read single integer. When you read set of data, it will give you the list of item separate with space. That means give a string. That string you can divide into set of item. That means apply the split method. After splitting, you will get a list, and from the list you take one by one and convert into integer and store in a list. And finally you will get the array. This array is nothing but your list. Then I am reading of list. Reading of list of items. List of so this way you can do. Okay. So read well and practice well. If you practice well, then you can solve any kind of problem. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.